What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. News is just popping off this morning. So we got to get into all of this. Like the video as the intro plays. We have a lot to get into. This Kim Porter autopsy is completely unexpected. But now it's out. We got to talk about it. Like this video.
Could somebody please make it make sense?
Make it make sense to me in lecture.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Made sense.
Make it make sense. You know what was up.
You know what you're working with. Oh no. Oh no. Somebody help me back. Hey, Zumba, get over here. Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
So I would literally walk up to Puff and I'd be like, you want to do this? But you can't do this. And so he walked straight to my table. I stood up and it was like a little stare down match on some
wow.
And I won. And he's like, yo, it was, you get us do my 2-way number. Well, I didn't call him the next day because I'm busy.
Yeah, what a game.
Well, I wasn't busy.
That men love the chase, and that to land a man, they should play a little hard to get. And we go, oh.
Okay, guys. Can't be bothered. You're on to something a little bit. Yeah, there will be different kinds of content on this channel. Sometimes you do kind of go down a rabbit hole, and I'm a person who always like to connect dots. So the rabbit holes come really easy for me, and making sense of things that don't necessarily make sense, or giving people a different way to, or a different perspective to think about things, kind of just flows into that. But yeah, there will be other content. That's why you'll see me do some Bravo stuff with some of my YouTube friends or buddies and things like that. There will be, trust me. But okay, back to Kim Porter. Well, we're going to do Kim Porter and Harvey Weinstein. But I want you guys to know, when we get to Harvey Weinstein, I call him Mangina. And let me let you see why I call him Mangina before we even get into anything, because this is low-key ridiculous. Everything happening today is low-key ridiculous. But this is why I call him Mangina.
Weinstein's Anatomy. She testified she thought he was intersex, that he didn't have testicles. Weinstein's Anatomy. Though the courtroom was stunned as man described Weinstein's anatomy. She testified she thought he was intersex, that he didn't have testicles, and it appears he has a vagina. Upon hearing that, Weinstein threw his hands up in the air, allowing them to fall to the table in frustration.
So that's why I call him Mangina. And then effectively, that's what I'm going to call him throughout this video. I don't like him. I think he's trash. And I think he's guilty. But yes, that was actual testimony from one of his victims. So Mangina it is. Anyway, back to Kim Porter. So shout out to Really BTV. She's going to be going in depth on this on her channel today. And she likes to do, she does panels and stuff on some of these things. She informed me that there was a content creator named That Surprise Witness TV who actually put out Kim Porter's autopsy and fact checked it. So that's kind of what we're going to be reviewing with that. I let you guys know that there was an amended report. It's not that they reopened the case. It's that she is a lawyer / content creator who decided to fact check what is out there, because these Diddy stories are getting kind of crazy. There's been a lot of allegations that Diddy had something to do with Kim Porter's untimely demise. There's also accusations that Diddy was having Kim Porter's home surveilled by his baby mama, who is a expert in surveillance. So that's pretty much where this came from. I have definitely linked her video in the description of this chat, or of this video. So if you go over there, You can let her know that I have the bling book because she's looking for it. That's by Erica Kennedy. And she's also just giving her own viewpoints on some of these things. Cheryl seems to know a lot about this stuff. Cheryl, are you a physician or have you worked for a coroner? If so, I will drop the link for you and you could come up. Because right now we're doing layman's, but this is the actual autopsy. Let's see. It says this 47-year-old woman, Kimberly Antoinette Porter, died of lobar pneumonia. According to reports, Ms. Porter was reportedly not feeling well with flu-like symptoms for approximately 4 days. She recently visited Africa, but returned approximately 1 month prior to passing. On 11/7/2018, she was experiencing throat pain and called a physician to request erythromycin. Y'all know I will destroy a word. Erythromycin. She was seen by a physician on 11/12/2018 who noted that she had cold flu-like symptoms, including nasal congestion, sweats, mild cough, body aches, and a sore throat. She had a temperature of 102 degrees Fahrenheit with flu and strep throat test being negative. She was given Toradol by intramuscular route and was given intravenous fluids, including saline and vitamins. So a lot of wealthy people do that. That's basically when you get an IV drip. You have the money to have a traveling doctor come and give you an IV drip. But some people see with her symptoms, they don't understand why she was only given something for pain and an IV drip. Ms. Porter called this physician the following day, 11/13/2018, and explained that she had no appetite. A nurse visited and gave her more saline solution with vitamins. So she doesn't have an appetite. The physician sends over another nurse just to give her an IV drip. And I can tell you from when I had my surgery, guys, I went in doubled over in pain. The first hospital that I went to, all they did was give me an IV drip. And the next morning I felt great. I wanted to go back to work. But then maybe 8 hours later, the issue came right back and I was rushed into emergency surgery. So that IV drip can work wonders, but it does not actually treat you. It just kind of gives you a boost. It says the next day, 11/14/2018, she complained to the physician of a streak of blood in her phlegm. She also received a massage. Now that massage was from her niece, who I told you eventually Diddy fired. You know, the niece was the only person who had been in the twins' life and that Kim really trusted to be around her girls outside of her like immediate family. And Diddy fired her, alleging that she was not good to be around the twins because she had a child out of wedlock. Allegedly, you know, I went through that court case. You can check that video out. I did that a while back. It says she was watching television with people and subsequently went to bed. She was later found unresponsive and was pronounced unalive at the scene. So I want you guys to kind of hear what that Surprise Witness TV had to say about some of these things. And again, I have linked her video so you can go over there and check her out. I'm a content creator who likes to source things. And I also like to shout out other content creators. I think there's room for everybody.
Likely respond to antibiotics, but it doesn't say that the physician prescribed her the azithromycin antibiotic. What it says is she called on the 7th to request it. And it says that a physician did see her on the 12th. But it does not say that a physician did prescribe those medications to her. And that's interesting to me because it does say that he prescribed or she prescribed other medications. Let's read on. So the flu and the strep tests were negative. She was given Toradol by intramuscular route and was given intravenous fluids, including saline and vitamins. Toradol is like ibuprofen, sort of anti-inflammatory. It's for pain. So they gave her a pain medication. Now, it's not like the same as like, you know, opioid pain medicine or something, but it's like an anti-inflammatory pain medication. So they gave her Toradol, and IV fluids, including saline and vitamins, but they did not give her, according to this, any antibiotics. So she's literally dying from pneumonia at this point, and nobody bothered to give her an antibiotic, despite the fact that she specifically requested a doctor give her an antibiotic.
No, isn't that strange, y'all?
That's
You have a doctor who sends nurses to your home. You don't even have to go to the doctor. At that level of money that Kim had and access, she's specifically saying, this is what I need, and they keep bringing her IV drips. Who is this doctor?
That's interesting. But you know, the saline and vitamins thing, I mean, I know the Scientologists, they just give vitamin B12 for everything. If you're going through detox at one of their centers and want to, you know, drug detox, alcohol detox, something like that, they'll give you vitamin B12 in the, what's it called? Narcanon or whatever they do, those houses that they have over there. So again, on the 7th, she called and asked for antibiotics. 5 days later, the 12th, the doctor finally bothers to show up, doesn't give her antibiotics, but instead gives her an anti-inflammatory pain medication, IV fluids, which I'm sure she was dehydrated, so I'm sure she did need the saline fluids, and vitamins. But it does not say that he gave her any antibiotics, or she. I don't know if the doctor was a boy or a girl. They didn't tell us. The very next day, after the doctor finally bothered to show up and see Kim Porter, she called the doctor back and explained that she didn't have any appetite. She wasn't hungry. At which point, a nurse then came by and gave her more IV fluids and more vitamins. Again, the woman is dying from a bacterial infection in her lungs, and they never gave her an antibiotic, even though she specifically asked for one. The next day after that, she's coughing up blood, and she got a massage from her goddaughter. Now, it says she was watching television with people, and subsequently she went to bed. She was later found unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. Now, this found unresponsive thing does contradict a little bit with what they tried to tell us in the public record. Because what did they tell us? What did TMZ report? That she was having a cardiac arrest. So was she found in the middle of a heart attack, or was she found unresponsive?
Somebody said no steroids. Let's see. No steroids to assist the lungs either. Wow. I just got put on a steroid. I told you guys yesterday I can't hear out of one ear because I had 4 flights in less than a week, and I have an inner ear issue. And that's what they put me on, steroids.
And then we do see, you know, there was also evidence of lobar pneumonia. Now, this part right here, I do have it highlighted. I do need to speak with an expert, but it says lung cultures did not grow bacteria. And I'm just a layperson. I don't know what that means, but I did look it up. And apparently, if there are bacteria in the lungs, like abnormal, and you have pneumonia or something, oftentimes you would expect to see a culture where they take basically like a little bit of a swab of the lung and they put it in a petri dish and they see if the bacteria that's in the lungs will grow, right? If they see that if there's bacteria in there, will it grow? It says lung cultures did not grow bacteria. Then that means that it's a normal result. I looked it up, and it says like an abnormal result of this would mean that the lung cultures would grow bacteria in the petri dish. And when I looked it up, it said when the bacteria in the petri dish is growing, that could be an indication of pneumonia. So if she had pneumonia and it was caused by bacteria in the lungs, I think I would expect the cultures of the lungs to grow bacteria in the petri dish. Again, if y'all are a medical expert or something, comment below. Now, it also says that they did those nose swabs, and those also came back negative for any viruses. She didn't have any drugs in her system. And then they go on to define what lobar pneumonia is in this autopsy report. What they say is lobar pneumonia is an infection of the lung caused by bacteria. Okay. Immune cells, it's like, I think like white blood cells, invade the air spaces. So your lung, you're like kind of drowning. The spaces where air is supposed to be in your lungs is full with immune cells. And this is accompanied with death of some of the lung cells. Pneumonia decreases the lung's ability to take in oxygen, and over time, it can cause sudden death. So that doesn't make any sense to me. Over time, it can cause sudden death. Is it over time or is it sudden? Because sudden means...
She's funny to me. So I want to get into this portion of it. Let's see. Is this it? Here we go. Make sure that this one is
negative. So it was like a bunch of different gram-negative bacteria in her lungs. Some of y'all, that'll mean something. It don't mean much to me. Now, here is the picture of the kind of like model or whatever of her body. And it does show 2 scars, which appear to perhaps be some type of C-section type of scars. And the lower abdomen had turned green. And then that puncture wound on the right hand that we did talk about already. But what's really weird to me is it looks like they got the hands wrong, because in the report, it says it was on her right hand. And right here, it looks like it's very clearly on the left hand. Maybe I just don't know what I'm looking at, but there was also this 3-something purple contusion. And this purple contusion on her arm could be from perhaps that Toradol injection. It could be from anything, but it does remind me of an interview that Gene Deal did just 1 month ago, a former bodyguard.
Again, Shout out to That Surprise Witness TV. She was the one who actually reached out to the LA coroner. She is an attorney / content creator, and she was able to get the actual autopsy report and fact check it, which again, I'm very intrigued with what she had to say.
Barbiturates, I'll put it in here what they tested her for, but it all came back negative. And all these tests happened January 4th, 2019, which is like 2 months after she died. You know, here's the patient test result report. Again, I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at, but it does appear to me that her potassium
negative for everything. There was no alcohol, no drugs in her system, no barbiturates, cocaine.
and her sodium and her glucose were not within the normal ranges. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if that's not, but I'll put the chart here. Again, this was also done about 2 months after she died. They did this bacteriology report. Now, this one is bacteriology, and it's called final reports. I'll show you right here where it says no growth at 48 hours, verified on 11/21. They did these stains, no organisms observed in the red blood cells. And this, as you can see, was collected on November 19th. And this one was ordered by Ode Ukpo, who actually ended up getting promoted. The man makes nearly $500,000 a year. But
we're not seeing anything from Ed Winters, which again is something that is being fact checked. Everybody said Ed Winters, the famed coroner who did everybody. Remember, he did Michael Jackson, Brittany Murphy, Tom Petty, Whitney Houston. What they had said specifically about him was that he did Kim Porter. And, you know, the test was, I think Jaguar Wright was the one that said that he did Kim Porter's and there was a cover up. Well, the actual autopsy report does not list Ed Winter's name. So if you are a coroner, you can kind of let us know, is that normal? Could he have been a part of it and then taken off? We don't know. But shout out to That Surprise Witness TV. She got all this information. Yeah, the coroner TV. Somebody said, how did Ed pass? Oh, this is the excerpt. It doesn't say. It just said he's gone. But I remember him on the TV. It's crazy that it is. I remember him on the TV for the Michael Jackson stuff. Guys, we have 3,000 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. This isn't even the only stories I have for you today. The Weinstein just kind of like took it. It redirected everything. So I probably will be back later tonight with the rest of the stories, but definitely hit the like button. We just hit 160,000 subscribers, and we also just hit 30 million views. So thank you for everybody who subscribed. Thank you for everybody who's been watching. Thank you for all of the content creators who continue to speak truth to power. I appreciate all of you guys, but let's get back to it.
There's this other bacteriology report, and I really don't know what the difference is, but this one says amended reports. Okay, so there's one bacteriology page. Now, this bacteriology report says final report, and this one was some culture they did in the lung. But this one right here I find to be interesting because it says amended report, verified date time November 20th, and then they name these different bacteria that were found in her.
Oh, that's really nice. Linda says, how do I donate to your channel? I don't see the money sign. I usually never think to put this up. If you do choose to support the channel, you can always do it through Cash App. Anything is appreciated, but again, nothing is, I never tell anybody they have to do anything other than I ask that people hit the like button. But thank you so much for that, Linda Patton. And I did. Sassy Girl, thank you so much for the Cash App. I forgot. I think Sassy Girl sent me a Cash App yesterday. I appreciate that.
Blood. The first one is Fusobacterium necrophorum, which I looked this up and it looks like you can contract this from animal bites. Another one that was found in her blood is Clostridium species, not C something something. And I looked that up and, according to Google, this is similar to the type of bacteria that causes botulism and tetanus. Now, all of these are apparently found in her blood. The third one says Enterococcus faecalis, and Fecalis means feces. So in her blood, there was a bacteria that is found in feces, in fecal matter. And it says that you can contract it from coming into contact with feces and fecal matter. It was in her blood, though. It was in her blood. So, and then there was one final one, Citrobacter species, isolated from aerobic blood bottle. Now, this particular bacteria, I looked up and it says it's closely related to Salmonella, and it results in intestinal infection or urinary tract. And again, y'all, I'm just Googling, okay? I would really love it if a doctor, especially in particular a medical examiner, somebody like that, could come on a live with me and go through this entire autopsy result line by line by line and explain to everybody, including me, how this works. I'm just a layperson, right? And I'm reading this. It says bacteriology, amended reports, and there's 4 different bacteria that are found in her bloodstream. Look, source.
Now, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm doing the same thing. I've reached out to a couple doctors I know to see if they want to come on the show and see if they want to kind of break this down. If you are a coroner or a doctor and these things sound normal or abnormal, you know, I am nobody's doctor. So yeah, you can DM me and make it make sense now if you do want to come on the show, if you are even like a researcher and this is kind of like your area of expertise. I love the fact that she is fact checking these.
Blood autopsy. This is not the same as one page before where it was a wound culture from inside her lung. They swabbed her lung. No, this is her blood. They took blood out of her body, ran tests. That's what it looks like to me. Y'all tell me. And they found 4 different types of bacteria. One of these bacteria can come from animal bites. One of these bacteria is similar to the tetanus, right? One of these comes from feces. That's the Enterococcus fecalis. And one of them is closely related to Salmonella, which you can contract from eating chicken, fish, whatever. So there's 4 types of bacteria found in this woman's bloodstream. It's on this thing called amended report. And the only thing I can think of is what was in those IV bags they gave her. You know, Michael Jackson's death was ruled a homicide. It was ruled a homicide. And the person who really blew the lid off of that whole thing was Dr. Ed Winter. Dr. Ed Winter is no longer with us. He has.
And again, he's not listed on this autopsy. Somebody said, what's your Cash App? It's Make It Make Sense Now. Thank you guys for the support.
Passed away. But Dr. Ed Winter, Jaguar Wright says, is the guy who said Kim Porter had been poisoned. Now, I will call back up there today and ask what's the deal with that, because I did not see anything about Dr. Ed Winter at all.
Okay. So the last part of the autopsy states, Detective Patek, Los Angeles Police Department, Valley Bureau Homicide. They called a homicide detective. Investigation on 11/15/2018 at 13:05 hours. Officer Villanueva from a Los Angeles Police Department, North Hollywood Division, called Case Loan at the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner Coroner to report this apparent natural death. It was reported that the descendant was found unresponsive in bed by family members. 911 was dialed and death was determined at the scene. There was no known medical history other than recent cold flu-like symptoms for the past few days. That's not necessarily true because they said she had pneumonia. An in-house physician prescribed antibiotics and IV fluids. No. They did not prescribe antibiotics. Remember, they described a pain. They prescribed a pain, something for pain, and they also prescribed an IV drip. No antibiotics was given. So how is like this police report seems a little weird off to me. You other straight shooters or detectives, let me know. We just listened to it. They prescribed something for pain, no antibiotics, no steroids. And it also says there was no known history of drugs or alcohol use. I was assigned this field call by Lieutenant Smith on 11/15/2018 at approximately 13:16 hours. I arrived on the scene at approximately 14:10 hours and departed from the scene at approximately 16:33 hours. Foul play is not suspected. The descendant's fingerprint return and a routine search of the Los Angeles County Consolidated Criminal History Report System revealed no drug or alcohol-related offensive. Forensic attendant M. Sierra and coroner investigator Trinity Lee L. Darabadin transported the descendant from the scene to the forensic center. So again, at this point, That Witness TV is the only person that I've ever seen who actually had it. There's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of talk. conjecture, but she is the only one who allegedly has actually got the report. And if you're just coming in, there was an amended report, but we don't technically know if that was the norm or, you know, maybe they had to wait for more results to come in and then they amended the report. But that is Kim's autopsy report. I have linked the whole video from That Witness TV in the description of this video. I always say, go and check out as many people as you want. Don't just believe everything you see and hear. Go based on all of the information that you've heard and compiled, and then make your decisions. Never just follow. So that is the alleged report. I didn't say, let me see. What is my take on it? I'm not going to lie. I'm not a person who is really big on conspiracy theories. But even after seeing that report, I do feel like there's some discrepancies. I do feel like I'm going to go through the whole spectrum. I do feel like Kim Porter was abused. I do feel like Kim Porter was used. I do feel like Kim Porter, like a lot of the people in Diddy's orbit, was scared. I don't technically know what to believe. I really don't. I feel really bad for the daughters who have lost their mom at such a young age, and now they're going through all this with Diddy. I don't know what to believe. Do I think that this report was real? Absolutely. But if the allegations are that Diddy had paid off those the investigators and jurors in the Pow Pow case back in '99 with Shine, I don't know. We got Harvey Weinstein, who's able to appeal a sex conviction. We're in a very weird space in history where people are getting exposed, but we can still see that if you have enough money, you can get away with basically murder. So I don't know. But you saw it. I made sure that I blew it up big enough for you guys to see, and you guys can draw your own conclusions. Let's get into Harvey Weinstein. And I'm not done with this Kim Porter thing. I have a few doctors in my orbit who I'm going to send this to, see if they want to come on, and then I'll get back to you guys with more information. I just wanted to make sure that you saw that the report was out there because we've heard a lot. In terms of Mangina, it says New York Appeals Court overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction from landmark Me Too trial. New York's highest court on Thursday. Let me show you guys. New York's highest court on Thursday overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction, finding the judge at the landmark Me Too trial prejudiced the ex-movie mogul with egregious improper rulings, including a decision to let women testify about allegations that weren't part of the case. We conclude that the trial court erroneously admitted testimony of uncharged, alleged prior sexual acts against persons other than the complainants of the underlying crimes. The court's 4-3 decision said the remedy for these egregious errors is a new trial. The state court of appeals. Now, here's the thing. He can get a new trial, but the court of public opinion has already decided that this man is guilty. So how is he going to get a jury of his peers who don't know everything that's already happened? The state court of appeals ruling reopens a painful chapter in America's reckoning with sexual misconduct by powerful figures, an era that began in 2017 with the flood of allegations against Weinstein. His accusers could again be forced to retell their stories on the witness stand. The court's majority said it is an abuse of judicial discretion to permit untested allegations of nothing more than bad behavior that destroys the defendant's character, but sheds no light on their credibility as related to the criminal charges lodged against them. So I talked to an attorney already this morning, and basically the attorney was like, well, I talked to two. One still, she's going to call me back in an hour. Right away when I said this, because they hadn't heard, neither attorney had heard about this yet, I get it. I also went and I looked at Harvey Weinstein's attorney, and she said that there was no DNA evidence. This was totally based on people's firsthand accounts. So we're going to get into some of these things, but you guys know I call Harvey Weinstein mangina. If you've been in here, you know why. I'll show you guys this again before we get into it, because I want you guys to see some of the witnesses.
Testified she thought he was intersex, that he didn't have testicles, and it appears he has a vagina. Upon hearing that, Weinstein threw his hands up in the air, allowing them to fall to the table in frustration. Mann's testimony is both consequential and complicated. She was in some sort of relationship with Weinstein, saying she felt compassion for him and wanted his approval, but also felt degraded and used. The defense said everything was consensual, pointing out she had numerous other sexual encounters with Weinstein, that she was using him to advance her acting career, often sending him emails. Mann told the court she never meant what she wrote, saying nice things only because she was afraid of the producer. After court today, Weinstein sarcastically laughed off any questions about his anatomy.
Mr. Weinstein, your testimony of your body accurate.
I feel like he does have a mangina. He looks like he has a mangina. Oh man, I didn't even see these super chats. Keisha, thank you so much for the super sticker. Cheryl, thank you for the super sticker. Sierra Side, like the video. Hey Mims, yeah guys, like the video. We got over 3,600 in the chat. Again, I guess our new subscriber goal is 175. I can't even believe we're at 160, but thank you guys so much for your continued support. Everything. Tammy says, Mims, can you please ask Jaguar Wright to come on your show live? I don't have any real connection to Jaguar Wright. I know that my friend Storm, again, I support other content creators. Storm has done extensive stuff with Jaguar Wright. If you are interested in some of the stories, I think he did an 8-hour thing a couple weekends ago with Jaguar. You could definitely check him out. Joy says, yes, please have Jaguar on your show. I don't know Jaguar, guys. I don't even know if Jaguar knows that I exist. Cheryl Chapman, thank you so much for the super sticker. Toya says, can you pause her so we can read the report? I guess I could maybe post the report on my Instagram, make it make sense now. I could do that if you guys want. I can, blow it up a little bit more and put it on Instagram. It's Make It Make Sense Now on Instagram. Hold on 1 second. Oh, and thank you for the Cash Apps. I got Tamil, thank you for the Cash App. Kalea, thank you for the Cash App. Sassy Girl, Miss Vegas, Andrea, and Daryl. Thank you guys for the Cash Apps. I appreciate you. Linda, thank you for the super sticker. Tuddy says, I work in microbiology and it makes sense if the report was amended to identify the organism. You need time to swab, grow, and identify the organism. Well, thank you, Tuddy. She's a straight shooter and a microbiologist, so you never know who's in these chats. And unlike some of my judge friends who won't actually come into my chat under their real name, Tuddy is letting y'all see who she looks like. Yes, that is a real story. One of my friends is a judge, and they will not come into my chat. They use assumed names. I said, what am I doing over here? Equal Rights for All, thank you for gifting a membership. Francis, thank you for joining the membership. Lorraine says, those different bacteria combined create the perfect storm, aka poison. Dr. Winter's name is blacked out. Now, there was some things that were blacked out on that report, which is why I let you guys see it close. Miss Ray, thank you for becoming a member. Miss Ray's been here for she's been around since the beginning. Kim Cat, remember it was reported that there were 2 autopsies done and Dr. Winter did the original autopsy, and shortly after that Puffy had this one done. Puffy did it. That's why I don't tell you guys what to believe. I just let you see what's out there and y'all piece it together. And I do some piecing together too, but that's what we do around here.
Like, girl, get it together. Connect the dots.
We connect the dots. Thank you, Kim Cat. And Ebony says he'll get the same juries as peers as Drump 45. I haven't even really been following that trial, but it was important to let you guys see that. Now, this lady actually had audio. of inappropriate behavior. She wore a wire, kind of like what we saw they alleged Justin was doing, where Diddy was patting down his chest when he saw him. This is what happened there. This is Weinstein.
I will mentor you, I teach you, whatever, but you have to, relax with me, have fun, enjoy,
You're listening to Harvey Weinstein in full flight. Part of this secretly recorded audio from 2015 has...
I'll mentor you, but you'll have to relax and have fun with me. This is the man who's going to get a new trial, y'all.
Only just been released.
What? A massage, something.
I'm shy.
I know, but a massage, something nice.
Cold, hard evidence of Weinstein pressuring a young woman into his hotel room.
No, you must come in. Can we stay down here? No, you have to come up. So many women have said the same thing. He wants you to come up to his room to massage. We've heard the same thing about Russell Simmons. It was always, well, I do business from my house, or I do business from my whatever. You need to come up. And, oh, I might just be in a towel because I just got a massage. We keep hearing the same thing.
Please. No, I don't want to.
All right, we'll see.
Threatening her and her career.
If you don't trust me, then we have no reason to do anything, and you will lose big opportunities.
Harvey Weinstein paid $1 million to have that audio destroyed, and it's pretty obvious.
Guys, we've been saying this so often. We see these big celebrities who make these people sign NDAs. In the NDA, she was required to destroy this tape. He paid $1 million, never helped her career, and this is the kind of stuff she had to sit through.
That's why. It shows just how sleazy and manipulative the movie mogul could be. But that was just a taste of his tactics. As the woman you heard there, Amber Battalana, found out. Intimidation, attack horrible young. Amber moved at his office. That morning, it quickly became clear that while she was there for work, he was there for pleasure.
I kept saying, so nice to see you again, so nice to see you again. And anyway, there was a moment he stared at me and asked me, "Is your breast real?" And I'm like, what?
He's going to be...
Yes?
He is going to be extradited to California. So for people thinking, okay, he's going to get cleared, because he's wealthy and white, he's paid for his way. Technically, we are seeing today where if you have enough money to keep fighting, which he does, you might get another day in court. However, yes, he is supposed to be extradited to California because there's multiple cases. At the time that these stories were coming out around 4 years ago, I think there were 65 women. Now over 100 women have come forward saying that Mangina did this to them. And it was always the same story.
First, it was Weinstein's eyes on Amber. Quickly, it was his hands.
It was first my breast, and then he put his hand on my... It was first...
Doesn't he have the face of somebody with a mangina?
It was first my breast, and then he put his hand on my leg and tried to kiss me. So yeah, it was very fast. Like, I couldn't even react.
Amber was horrified and fled the office, soon after breaking down in tears and then going straight to police.
When I spoke to the police guy, I said, "Harvey Weinstein assaulted me." And he answered, "Again?" And I'm like, "What do you mean again? This happened before?"
Police were desperate to land the big fish, so asked Amber to take a huge risk. They wanted her to wear a wire and meet Weinstein for a drink at a hotel bar the very next night.
I was so distressed, but I really want people to believe me. Like, it was my voice of a 22-year-old model against, that powerful person. It's like David and Goliath.
Yesterday you touched my breast.
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that.
But are you used to that?
Yes, come in.
I'm used to
Please
that.
come in.
I don't know how,
Everything. I'm a famous guy.
I'm feeling very comfortable right now.
Please come in now. I will never do another thing to you.
You guys, she signed an NDA or whatever. She had originally made her police report, signed an NDA. What if Cassie has some things like this on Diddy and then eventually it gets unearthed? Like, she broke her NDA. She broke everything. I know Cassie did a settlement, but what if she breaks it? What if she has some stuff like this to air?
5 minutes. Don't ruin your friendship with me for 5 minutes.
It's amazingly brave that you managed to record this, because when you listen to Harvey in that mode, he's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. I mean, you have big, strong men in front of you, and you know that is aggressive.
Spearheading a salacious.
Now, this again, we have, and I'm going to get in. There's some Little Rod stuff that I got to talk to you guys about. I don't know if I want to do this tonight or we'll do it tomorrow, but this is exactly what happens. When you have money, you can then smear these people. You can take everything about them and smear it all over. So now you go from victim to, okay, well, if you did this 20 years ago, who knows? Maybe you're making this up about Diddy. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But this is exactly why the young lady who is suing Diddy, who wants her name not revealed, she fears that Diddy is going to try to use her past against her. And Diddy is fighting really hard to get her name out there so that the wheels can turn to then de-victimize these people, allegedly. The fact that all of these rich, powerful men have all the same type of tactics is crazy to me.
Spearheading a salacious smear campaign in the media to intimidate and discredit his victim.
She once filed a sexual assault suit against a 70-year-old, quote, sugar daddy.
It worked. Amber found herself under siege when she met with the district attorney's sex crimes chief a few days later.
First moment I saw her, I said, great, she's a woman. First question she asked me, were you a prostitute? And I'm like, what? Sorry?
It doesn't matter if somebody is a prostitute or sex worker. No means no. At the time, you could get right up to the point of inserting. If you say no, male or female, whatever, mangina like Harvey Weinstein. If you say no, you say no. It doesn't matter if you are paid for the act and you decide not to do it. But that's a cop, a female cop, basically looking at her like, well, what are you now? It's jacked up. Somebody asked the question, we are at a place with AI that no voice recordings will be allowed. What about physical recordings?
And vulnerable, and recognizing that he's powerful and I'm not, and that I need this deal from him and he has the power to give it to me.
We can have like it to win 2 VIP passes to the premiere in New York, and they have to like it. So now you're generating all these likes on your Facebook page.
Wow. Okay, but I'm going to use your service.
Good.
On Marilyn Royal.
Good.
And then, you can sign me up. Tell your boss.
And so he's going from almost pulling a trigger on using this platform to then he put his hand up under the table, up my dress. I was trying to save face a bit. At first, I was trying to kind of manage the situation.
And she's not an actress. She's literally just working to sell him like ad campaigns. You said we voice recordings can't be trusted. Well, what about actual physical taped evidence?
For the combination of confidence and naivety that led me to, this dynamic that we see now.
Data's so hot, right?
What's that?
Data's so hot.
It is hot. Right. A little bit.
A little bit. It's a little hot. So another thing I was thinking is, Sarah, I don't know how much you were involved with the Sarah Jessica Parker movie with Skyrocket. Some kind of app thing. I don't know. Buy the Look, where they wanted to, in the trailer, they wanted people to be able to buy her clothing. So they partnered with Outlook and whatever. It's not me. Okay, whatever. I can do that too.
I tried to keep it on script in terms of pitching him the product, but
he was still touching you on the shoulder.
He was still touching me on the shoulder.
What's running through your head as that's happening?
What do I do? How did I get myself here?
Banter Babe says, everyone is here typing their opinions and none of us have to agree. I'm not a sheep. I don't follow the masses and I don't believe the Diddy hype. That's the beautiful part of this channel. I don't tell you have to. You are free to believe whatever you want. We just put the information out there. How you receive it, how you interpret it, and how you apply it to your feelings are absolutely yours. So yeah, you are more than welcome to be in this chat. Do I believe it? Yeah. But I don't tell y'all what to believe.
I lost my train of thought, and I was trying so hard to gain back my own mental footing. At some point, his whole affect changed, and he looked like a predator. His eyes became dark.
What would you say to someone who might watch that and say, well, Melissa was flirting with him? Is that what you see when you watch it?
It was more tricky than I think it is possible to judge from looking at it. I worked on Wall Street before I went to business school, and I worked in an environment that was heavily male dominated. I thought I could handle it.
She didn't wear anything revealing. She was doing her job. What do you mean she's flirting? I find that if somebody is attractive, all you have to do is smile as you talk, and all of a sudden you're flirting. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Never met anyone that I couldn't handle until Harvey Weinstein.
When you go to the kitchen, you adjust the angle of the computer. Why?
I knew that I was losing the ability to control the situation and keep it professional. So I had entered that fight or flight mode, and I was scared of him.
What was that? I gotta go edit a movie, but I'll meet you somewhere. Meet you for a drink.
Are you inviting the men to meet you for a drink?
It's 3:34. With 30 Tribeca Graham.
Were you under?
Somebody said she put herself in an inappropriate situation. How? She was just in his office. Yeah, I smile all the time.
The impression that that meeting was to close the deal, potentially.
Yes. So it wasn't at 10 p.m. It wasn't an invitation to come to his hotel room. It was an invitation to a hotel lobby that was within blocks of the office. And so that to me felt much safer than being alone with him in his office.
Melissa says Weinstein.
So that was audio recording. Then we saw video recording. So let's get into some of the legal analysis. Well, no, I want you guys to hear what his attorney had to say. Because I like to give both sides. And she made some, well, I don't. She did what she was supposed to do as his attorney, but I think she knows he's guilty too.
Do you accept that? So it was down to the testimony of these women, and ultimately,
works.
the trial obviously had little forensic evidence.
It had zero forensic evidence.
So it was down to the testimony of these women, and ultimately, that was accepted by the jury. Do you accept that things are changing in the way these kinds of cases are tried?
If this becomes a pattern or a model for the way juries decide cases, I think every single person who finds themselves charged with a crime should be concerned. Because if we are finding people guilty where there are mountains of doubt and very little evidence, if any at all, I think we need to question what the justice system looks like.
When you have sexual assault cases, the idea of a woman coming to police with a test tube of evidence just isn't realistic, is it?
Well, that's not true. That's not true. It's not about realistic. No, but the question is, do you have to believe someone just because they make a statement? There is a history of cases where women don't tell the truth. So to say that now we should just believe women just because they make a claim without any evidence to back it up and actually evidence to the contrary, I think that we have to be concerned about what these verdicts look like.
But false rape accusations are a tiny percentage of overall rape.
Right. She's saying that so many women come forward and, people just believe them. And there's so many women that have lied. But she is completely negating the fact that more often than not, I think it was like over 99% of the women are telling the truth. And those are just the ones that actually come forward. So she's being an attorney, protecting Weinstein, but one way ticket to hell.
And you're speaking as though it's the overwhelming majority.
I'm not speaking as it's the overwhelming majority. You are speaking as if because someone makes a claim, it should be gospel. We have a system of justice in the.
No, that is true. Every claim, that is true. Every claim, there should be. Everything needs to be parsed out. Just because I say that one of you all, in the chat has harassed me, doesn't mean that you actually harassed me. But when we're talking about women who are victimized by sexual assault, the actual findings are 99% of them are telling the truth. Doesn't mean that 1% doesn't exist. I just don't think that Mangina is on that in that 1%.
The United States that says you are innocent until proven guilty.
I'm sure I don't need to remind you of the headlines that have been written about you. What kind of woman defends Harvey Weinstein? There's a special place in hell for Weinstein's lawyer. The Me Too movement has a very loud voice. Has their case and their argument ever made you feel like you're a traitor to your gender?
Not at all. I have a job to do. I believe in the system of justice that we live under in the United States. I think that we have to fight hard to preserve people's rights, and I'll continue to do that.
Are you confident that you're on the right side of history here?
You know, who decides what that is? I think that'll...
Had she said yes, that would be one thing. Who decides? The answer is, are you on the right side of history or not? Yes or no? Okay, but while we're doing that, they are basically saying that all these people were allowed to testify that weren't part of the case, and that's why he's getting a new trial. However, I wanted you guys to see the testimony of Newsom, the governor of California's wife.
Graphic day of testimony as Jennifer Siebel Newsom takes the stand, briefly bursting into tears before identifying Harvey Weinstein. She addresses the court saying, "He's wearing a suit, a blue tie, and he's staring at me." The documentary filmmaker and the wife of California Governor Gavin Newsom is the fourth woman to testify, accusing Weinstein of sexual assault. She says she met the former movie mogul back in 2005 at a Toronto film festival. There, she says he seemed genuinely interested in her career. He later asked to meet her back at a Beverly Hills hotel. She assumed it would be at a bar. Instead, she was escorted to his suite. Siebel Newsom says she felt uncomfortable and hesitant, but stayed, saying he could make or ruin your career. Then describes being alone with Weinstein. The two ate and spoke for a short time. That's when she says he got up and called her from the back room. When she entered, he was only wearing a robe and thought maybe he was hurt. That's when she describes in detail Weinstein forcing himself on her, fully nude. She says he raped her, explaining she felt powerless, saying, "I felt tremendous shame," basically was still processing this all. He had taken a piece of me.
Same thing over and over again. He has these women. It went so deep. Harvey's wife has a line. She's a very beautiful woman. She has a line called Basley Mishka, which became super famous because Harvey Weinstein's top actresses were wearing the clothes. What he was doing was he was taking advantage of these women and forcing them to wear the clothes, making her a household name. And, you know, such a weird, vicious cycle. When they would do a movie for him, he would require his actresses to wear Basley Mishka on the red carpet after taking advantage of them. Disgusting. Just thought I'd share that little tidbit with you. And we got one more. This was Ashley Judd.
And I didn't expect
he even tried to smear Ashley Judd.
That I would feel tearful, but it's been an absolutely tremendously moving 2.5 or 3 weeks.
She says before she decided to speak out, it was frightening. Not clear whether anyone would believe the women or anyone would care.
I went on a run, and then I thought, oh, sometimes people say they pray on runs or they get clarity about things and they use it to process and sort, and I'm totally going to do this. I also talked with my dad when I...
Singing duo. But the youngest daughter, Ash...
Yes.
In Hollywood, she says she got some small parts, then larger ones, and she got the attention of one of the reigning titans of the business, producer Harvey Weinstein. Of the more than 60 women who have now come forward to say they were his prey, nearly 20 say it happened before. A girl named Ashley Judd says she entered his hotel room.
He had called, wanted to talk to you. Had you heard about him? Had you heard anything about him? I mean, heard to be wary.
No, I had not. No, I had no warning. I had no warning. I remember the lurch when I went to the desk and I said, Mr. Weinstein, is he on the patio? And they said, he's in his room. And I was like, oh, kidding me.
But you went up because?
I had a business appointment, which is, as that's, you know, his pattern of sexual predation. That was how he rolled.
She already knew something about sexual predation. She's written about being sexually assaulted when she was young and the terror you feel before you're trapped. And in a pattern so many women say happened to them too. She says the man inside began insistent pressure.
There's this constant grooming negotiation going on. I thought no meant no.
She says he first asked to give her a massage because she must be tired and then asked for her to give him one.
I fought with this volley of no's, which he ignored.
Yeah, because somebody wants to touch his body.
Ignored, who knows, maybe he heard them as maybe he heard them as yeses, maybe they turned him on.
She says he steered her into a hallway near a closet.
He asked me to pick out his suit for the day.
She also says she remembers the bathroom just ahead, no exit.
You know, if I have totally frozen in my mind the floor plan and where the door was behind me and then eventually where that closet was.
She says she wouldn't sit down. She remained standing as she cowered in the hall 5 to 7 minutes, and says at one point he asked her to come into the bathroom and watch him take a shower. I had with me a list of the different defenses the women who've come forward say they tried to use to escape.
Come in the bathroom and watch me take a shower.
That light tone of voice designed not to offend someone powerful.
Laughing, frozen, panicked. One person said, I sang.
Yeah.
I just started singing.
We act like we're about between 3 and 6 years old in those moments.
But she has an idea. Make a deal. An encounter someday.
And he kept coming back at me with all this other stuff. And finally, I just said, when I win an Oscar in one of your movies, okay? And he was like, yeah, when you get nominated. I said, no, when I win an Oscar. And then I just fled. Which I think, you know, am I proud of that? I'm of two minds. The part that shames myself says no. The part of me that understands the way shame works says that was absolutely brilliant. Good job, kid. You got out of there. Well done. It's a very important word, shame, and it's a very important thing to talk about. So we all do the best we can.
Again, most victims don't come forward. Most victims do not come forward. They just live with it.
And our best is good enough. And it's really okay to have responded however we responded.
She says afterwards she had trouble grasping what had happened, but told her parents enough they could see how shaken.
Like, was I going to tell the concierge who sent me up to the room?
There are photos from that time, the Vanity Fair Oscar party. This one released to us by Harvey Weinstein.
He's put up this picture.
Again, I wanted you guys to see this specifically for this. Harvey put out the picture of a photo of them being what looks to be chummy as a way to say, I was not trying to abuse this woman. Because a photo at a Hollywood party shows that. But that's the way the mind works. Oh, and how it ties into Diddy? Allegedly, Diddy has all these tapes. How easy would it be for him to start putting out these tapes of the most powerful people in the industry? A new name has been submitted that I'm going to start deep diving on, Douglas. You know this interview is coming because, you know, as a actual journalist, they're going to come and say, hey, we are going to be talking with her. So what does he do? Doesn't put out a statement, sends a photo of them together at a party. I couldn't have done this. Look at this. She's smiling around me.
Shows that you were friends, that you were fine, that he even tried to fix you up with his brother, or did fix you up with his brother.
She says they had tea in public.
So you were friends.
No, that's deny, attack, reverse the order of offender and victim.
And she points to a different picture from that same event.
And I hoped I wouldn't pass him, but I did, and he obviously grabbed my hand. It's like the look on my face is abject terror. Like I can see it in my eyes.
Your elbow, it seems to be pushing him back while you're holding his hand.
Yeah, it's very.
Did that look like a normal pose to y'all? But Harvey Weinstein felt it was good enough to give the news because that was going to show the world that he didn't really do that. She's a liar.
It's very gross. It's very gross. I feel for that 28, 29-year-old woman.
Of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated and posting on this. Donna, thank you so much for the super sticker. Timeless says, if it worked for this long, why change it? But why didn't she leave at the first sign of danger? I think only the victims can answer that. If I'm with somebody who is extremely powerful, my job is to, like, you finally get before Harvey was like known as a predator, you finally get one-on-one time with, you know, the biggest person in the industry and you're selling them something. Do you just walk out? Hopefully you're strong enough to walk out. You shouldn't be put in that situation, but we can't use one paintbrush to paint everybody. Everybody is not capable. The point is the predators should not be doing this, not necessarily to blame the victim to say, well, why didn't you leave? Lots of victims don't leave. A lot of people get intimidated. A lot of people don't speak truth to power. A lot of people just allow it to happen. The point is it shouldn't be happening. Lady, thank you so much for joining the membership. Ebony Neal says, be courteous and pleasant and attractive equals flirting nowadays. Exactly. Darkin, thank you for the generous super chat. She says the SS made a calculated move by overturning Weinstein's charge. They're planning to do the same for Diddy when he's incarcerated. Behind their concern that Diddy might spill some beans, and this thought is giving many influential people sleepless nights. Absolutely. Diddy is a gatekeeper. Diddy is extremely connected. Money, power, everything else you can think of. If there are alleged tapes, that's dirt on some of the most powerful people. Who knows? Stacy says, funny how people become so weak and fragile when it's time for court. Exactly. Everybody's now walking into court on a either in a wheelchair or using what are those things called? What are those things that help you out when you can't necessarily walk? Not crutches, a walker. They're using a walker. Nandy says, finally was able to catch a live while on my lunch break. Well, thank you for spending your lunch break with us. So guys, yeah, I had a whole nother story. Weinstein got me off track. So I don't necessarily want to come back today, but if some other stuff pops off, I will come back today. If not, expect that video early tomorrow morning. Banter Babe, and anybody who doesn't believe, again, you are more than welcome in these chats. We do discourse around here, and everybody is free to have their own opinions. We do not think with one mind around here. I thought it was Bajley Mishka. Is it? It's not. Did I get that wrong? Y'all know I butcher names. No, it's Bajley. It's isn't it Bajley Mishka? Or is it Marchesa? My bad. Hold on. Is that two different ones? Y'all know I butcher names. Chalk it up to my head and my heart. But let me verify that real quick. Let's see. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. I am okay. Thank you guys. And I'm also not above reproach. It is just Marchesa. I don't know. It's probably the M's. And I don't wear dresses. His wife did Marchesa. So let me show you some examples of Marchesa. I mispronounce things all the time. So if you're new to the channel, sorry. This is Marchesa. My bad. So I will put that in the video's description. I meant Marchesa. What did she say? Beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. Anyway, I do have to go, guys. So I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow, but if not, later on today. You guys have a good day, and take what you want to take and believe what you want to believe.